Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestling Tracks.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wrestling Tracks. I'm Lee Houston. Of course, David Palmer's in the house, like I promised. Now, you may know from Inspired Wrestling, you may know from AEW Wrestling, and so much more. What's going on with you, David?
Matthew, I'm sorry. It's whatever name you want anymore. It's fine. I woke up like 20 minutes ago, so I guess the day's going pretty good.
Yeah, man. Man, like, I'm so weird. I'm going ahead and be honest with you. I am indeed a WWE guy, so it will be a whole lot of reference to that. So I just want you to know right now where I stand. Yes, there's other promotions out there. MVP once said it. He was Impact Wrestling. He said this in the tweet. He said there's life outside the E, and what he meant is a life outside WWE. But of course, I will always be a WWE guy.
Yeah. Well, I suppose everyone's a WWE guy technically because like they were the monopoly for so long. So like, what choice you got?
And technically,
so, like, I'm an AEW guy. Like, what history they have?
Technically, you are too, because I ain't gonna mention her name, but yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know? I am just by relation, but like. It's like I also don't care. I mean, it's just a wrestling show. It doesn't matter.
They offer you a contract, you turn down.
What's that?
If they offer you a contract, you gonna turn them down.
No, man, because they give you money. No, because like if you think about it, like any complaints anyone ever has about WWE. It's the same issue on any wrestling show, like any indie wrestling show. Oh, they're not pushing the right guys, or there's not new talent. And it's like at the end of the day, it's like fans really don't know what they want. They know what they don't want, but they don't know what they want. It's like, oh, we don't want this, we don't want that, and it was like, well, what the hell do you want? We don't know. Well, then shut the f up, you know. So like, it's like if you guys don't like it, it's like we're doing our best, but that's any wrestling show. So if they say, hey, you want $250,000 a year to go wrestle in WWE, I'd be like, yeah, I'm already doing that for $40 here, so might as well go up.
Man,
but yeah,
like back in the day, like, well, recently, actually all the time, really. People like, man, we really want the attitude era back. Okay, it's like, okay, fine. And when they do that, you get offended. Like, how can they do that? If I was PG, you wanted the attitude era, you wanted some resemblance of it. We try to give it to you, you complain.
Right. Yeah, we want the attitude era, but like we don't have the mentality to accept the attitude era. And it was like, it was attitude, dude. It was like, that's the entire point. It was like in your face. It's like, nah, it's too offensive. It's like, well, piss off. Once again, what do you want?
It's amazing how we got away with most of that. It's amazing how we got away with it. Like, I remember I was about 13 when Edge and Lita did the live celebration thing, right? So of course my horny ass, man, I'm like, how far can he go with this? How far can he go with this? So Edge is in the bed. He got his hands in his mouth. I'm like, yeah. And all of a sudden you hear, woo! I'm like, damn it, Rick, not now.
Well, I couldn't help but think that they weren't going to actually have sex on regular TV.
Of course. I was like, how far can we go with this thing?
Yeah.
They're not going to have
damn you, Rick Flair, you cockblock.
Say again?
I said, damn you, Ric Flair, you cockblock.
Ah, man. I'm like, of course they're not going to do it. They're not going to actually do it, but let's see how far we can go with this thing. And the pains as far as we're going to go.
Yeah. Every time I try to pitch that idea to an indie show, they won't let me. All right, let's talk. What's up?
So, like, your career over the years, where have you been? Like, what's better, what's worse, everything else?
I have been to a lot of places. It's just basically alphabet soup out here. It's just different initials representing wrestling, so I show up. Doesn't really matter what the initials represent. I'm just here to wrestle. So like, I've wrestled in 40 plus states. Right now I'm the Revolver champion. That's the company that runs in Dayton, Ohio, and Des Moines, Iowa, run by Sammy Callahan. And then I've worked for ACW Anarchy Championship Wrestling in the past, which I believe you're familiar with most of my work there. And then Inspire Wrestling, also in Austin, Texas. And just about every place in between, really. But those are the main ones where I'm like a mainstay, and I'm there almost every show, and not just a journeyman traveling through. But yeah, that's what I've been doing for 15 years, just the Alphabet Soup Tour all around.
A lot of people, especially fans, need to understand the difference between, like, well, of course you can love your favorite wrestler and everything else, but when the cameras go off and the lights go off, they have a life to live. For example, what's her name? Her character's Sonya Deville. She's in court because a dude decided I'm gonna go see what's up. I'm gonna see what's up. So a dude decided to stalk her and everything, which is the stupidest thing you ever do. And this woman fight for a living. She ain't scared of shit, and she's in court crying. That tells a lot.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the world that we live in.
Yeah, man.
But no matter how tough you are, when somebody breaks into your house and you're trying to go to sleep and they're taunting you on social media and stuff like that, I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, she's still tough as hell if she's crying or not, you know? It's just traumatic.
Like, I live not too far from the Texas. I'm going to go over there to his house at all.
Yeah.
Because in reality, they don't know you like that, people. They don't know you like that. Yes, you're the biggest fan, but all this crap. In reality, they don't know you like that.
Oh yeah, they're not nearly as bad as these cyber stalkers and crazy people. But like, I'll get the fans that are like trying to like get insider information. It's like, hey, when's this person coming back? It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, why would I tell you? Like,
right?
Why would I spoil a return or somebody who's going through such a traumatic experience of trying to recover from a career-ending injury to return to wrestling? And I was like, well, I'm sorry I didn't tell you, Pam, on Facebook. Shut up. Piss off. It's like those are the most that I get all the time. It's like that. It's like, hey, tell me about this person backstage. It's like, no. And stuff like that. And then of course you get the ones that are like sending you death threats. I get one once a week. And so it's like, they give you a death threat for who you're married to, or if you spout off on Twitter, or if anything. And I was like, shut up. Like, shut up. Bunch of loud idiots. Obviously, you can see I'm not in a pleasant mood now.
Oh, no. The internet has killed professional wrestling, like the surprise, the shock, all. For example, Ronda Rousey. Everybody's like, Ronda Rousey she left UFC. We almost ruined the surprise. Almost. Because nobody knew she was going to be. I'm like, so if those of you don't know, here's the story. I believe Asuka wins the Royal Rumble match. The Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion come in the ring. It's time to choose. She about to make a choice, and all of a sudden, Joan Jett, I don't give a damn about my reputation, plays, and it's Ronda freaking Rousey. What the hell is she doing here? What's going on? And she don't say a word. I love the setting. She don't say a word. Comes in the ring, points WrestleMania sign. Oh my God, it's going down.
Right. And that was nearly ruined. just like Edge's return, just like a lot of returns. I mean, and like you look at it going like, what's this for? Like, could you imagine if you made $1 billion movie, let's say Avengers, and then everyone is just like, oh, let's find the spoiler. The movie comes out tomorrow. Why the hell are you looking for spoilers? You know what I mean? Right. Imagine if that was just a constant thing that you had to fight against. every show for wrestling. Like, you can't do one good thing to surprise people because they just don't want to be surprised, and then they get mad when they're not surprised. It's like you guys are the fault. It's like people can always say, "Oh, the internet or social media is killing wrestling," but it's people. It's people are killing wrestling because they just don't. Honestly, they just don't let the creators do what they want, and then see if they like it or not. They're constantly bitching and moaning. And imagine if you had to read a book, whatever your favorite book, and then halfway through you get to call the writer say, "I don't like it," and he has to change it, otherwise he's going to go broke. You know what I mean? That's pro wrestling. And so, like, instead of just getting the whole Stephen King novel and then figuring out if you like it afterwards, he has to rewrite it because you didn't like this lady here or this character here. It's like that's exhausting.
This man does that all the time. For example, let's say Raw, SmackDown, whenever goes on the air, you're 5 seconds to be on the air. You're on the air in 5 seconds. Vince looks at the script. I don't like this shit. Let's start over. He rips the whole script up, and you got to start over in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's improv. Pro wrestling is improv. Yeah. So, like, when people say, like, "Oh, the script's been changed," blah 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 blah, I was like, well, yeah, that's super hectic, granted, but like these are professional wrestlers who have to go out there and make up a match on the fly, make up a promo on the fly. You talked about that Ronda Rousey thing. They didn't know she was coming out there. They were just told to stand there. She stayed in the trailer hidden away so they didn't spoil it. You know, like they don't care. Like they care, but like wrestlers are like loose. Like we can kind of go with the flow on most things. We have to. We have no choice. At the drop of a hat, the crowd can turn on you, and you're like, well, they hate me now, so let's go ahead and just go with that. No one's going to fire me if I just, like, if the crowd's all booing me and, like, hating me, no one's going to fire me if I just, like, lean into the heel role more. You know, so, like, that kind of stuff. It's frustrating the guy rips up the script at 5 minutes before, I'm sure, but, like, it's not like wrestlers can't handle it.
Man. As soon as you said something, I was going to say, one tough place for a wrestler, if you want to test where you are as a wrestler, in my opinion, it's the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. They are ruthless sons of idiots in the world.
Well, if you don't let them get to you, like the main rule of wrestling is that I'm here to entertain you. I don't care what you do to me. You know, because like you can yell and throw paper all you want. I mean, you can't do shit. I mean, honestly, jump the railing and see how empty out that locker room will get, beating the shit out of you. You know what I mean? So like, it's a bunch of loud people. Yeah, whatever. Shut up. It's like, oh no, they're so mean. Well, then lean into it. Who cares? Your job is to get a reaction. So if a bunch of drunk guys from wherever are flustering you, then you're in the wrong business.
Oh yeah, man. No, one night stand 2005. 2006. Everybody, John Cena come out. Everybody in the world is booing John Cena. I guarantee you, somebody jumped the garden rail. The whole locker room who can't stand John Cena, ECW pay-per-view, will still kick your ass.
Oh yeah,
it's his brother.
And also, more importantly, John Cena would just rip you in half. I mean, the guy's a monster. He looks like your everyday cookie cutter baby face until you actually get near him, and it's like, oh, I forget, you are a monster of a man. Your hands are so huge. But once again, like, look at that environment and like, oh, that's such a hostile crowd. What does John Cena do? He keeps working. I mean, like, this crowd isn't, like, he doesn't care. Oh, yeah, look at him. Oh, it's such, the reputation's so bad. He does not give a damn. I'm like, oh, who cares? It's 400 people in a room yelling. The guy does it in front of 10,000 every night. He doesn't give a shit about a bunch of loud drunks.
I remember I called Nikki Bella a gold digger. And I say this because Nikki Bella, I called when she was with Johnson, I called her a gold digger. And I say this for a reason, because if Johnson was flat broke, no money, nowhere, Nikki Bella would pack her $10,000 bag, get her $20,000 car, and hit the road.
Oh, yeah? You think so? I don't know.
I think so. Because like
I don't know. She seems like a nice lady to me, but I don't know. I mean, the man. Look at that dude, and like in his 30s, he's like 40 something now, but like they were together in his 30s. That dude looks amazing. I don't know if she wouldn't be with that guy. You know, I mean, like, yeah, it's hard because they wouldn't be in the same industry if he's not hired. But like, come on, he's not a bad looking dude compared to other people there.
yeah.
So who knows? You can say gold digger, but like, I don't know. We also don't know how much money she had at the time.
Right.
All the wrestlers, you always assume that like they're all rich and like, oh, they're all making tons of money. They're not. They're you know, middle of the road. Like you think they're doing great, but they're probably making the same as like middle management of most companies. You know, it's nothing to scoff at, but it's nothing to like, oh, I'll just go buy a car today. So they still got their money troubles.
Now, one person I know who don't have too much problems with money is Vinnie Mac.
Oh no, I mean I don't know. I mean I hope not.
I'm like, people like Paul Heyman can write me a check, and I had to question that. Vince write me a check, and always cashes.
Yeah.
People like Paul Heyman.
Vince McMahon. I don't. Heyman's okay. How much is Vince worth?
He's a billionaire, millionaire, something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he was a billionaire. I couldn't. I'd never followed that. Because that's the line where I start not liking people. It's like once they get billionaire status, I'm like, I don't like you anymore. You'll never be a regular person again.
Oh no! I don't think Vince McMahon went grocery shopping day in his life.
That would be awesome to see, though. You just kind of at a Kroger and there's, is that Vince McMahon buying steak? Oh, damn.
Jeez. I think people do grocery shopping for him. Like,
oh yeah, there's no way
here,
that dude has seen the outside world.
Oh no. Well, unless he's in Grange with the rich folk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my limousine out for a car at the car wash. That's all. You know, just take my limousine, go wash my limousine. Go get somebody wash my limousine for me. Just regular day.
Yeah. He probably didn't have time to do regular stuff. He's just too busy working. He's like a workaholic.
This man hasn't had a vacation since 1984. He hasn't had a vacation 84. Always working.
Yep. Always.
He gets off work tonight at midnight. Tonight is when he gets off work. Oh, he's done working. Midnight.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Might even be later. Who knows?
Lord mercy. This dude never takes time off. Oh, no. He probably booked matches in his sleep if he ever sleeps.
You know what? That would probably be true, honestly. If somebody that he's so dedicated to his job, whether you like him or not, like the dude lives and breathes that job. And so like, there's no way he hasn't woken up from a dream going, you know what? We're doing Hogan on. I just want to know what matches he was like and woke up. And it's like, we're doing it. We're Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. Let's go. Damn, that's all right.
I remember John Cena started being shut down our throats at, I want to say around 2005, 6, they started shoving John down our throats. 2003, 2002, he was almost fired. As he was doing the rapper gimmick and the boy can't rap. I'm like, bruh, you can't rap and you suck. So therefore, you're almost fired. I don't know what he did.
Well, I thought the rapper thing saved him.
They almost got fired.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I mean that's the flow of it, man. I mean, if you're not putting in the effort, if they're looking at the numbers and it's like, hey man, you aren't making the money back for all the money we're paying you. You gotta do something like that. Everyone does that. I bet there's every person on that roster has had one moment to where like you're gonna get fired if you don't do something, and then they go and do something.
Oh yeah.
You know, like there's no way you walk in day one and you're golden the entire time. I mean, that's just a problem.
When John Cena first started the rapping gimmick, he was horrible. The boy can't rap. I'm like, bruh. And then he changed. He did song with rappers. Okay, this is good. This is okay. Eventually, he got better, but at first, Lord, he was on SmackDown rapping. He came out with Bull Buchanan. on SmackDown one episode, and the dude's rapping. I'm like, bro, this is horrible. You need to talk to somebody. You need to talk to Ice Cube, talk to Snoop Dogg, talk to somebody. Lord have mercy.
I remember the crowd cheering a lot. I don't know if it was good or not. I mean, I don't remember what he said. I just know it was usually some vulgar sex pun by the end of it. But I remember the crowd cheered a lot at the time, and I never liked him. I mean, I liked him well enough, but like he wasn't my favorite. But like when he was doing the rapper gimmick, I was like, I don't get it. But everyone in the crowd seemed to be cheering, so I don't know.
I've been a John Cena hater for years, and I respect him as a human being. But as a character, bruh, I love to hate this dude.
Oh, yeah? Well, there it is. The fact that you said you love to hate him means he nailed his job.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to love him one way or another.
I was begging this dude at least one time in your life, turn heel one time. You've been a good guy for years. Hulk Hogan didn't do that. At one time, at least he turned bad at least a couple of times in his career. It's the red and yellow brother. Eventually, that don't work out. Like, we're tired of it. We need something fresh. We need something new. I mean, come on, bro.
Right.
So, I remember that day. It was back in WCW, I want to say 96. Everybody's tired of the red and yellow brother. Eat your vitamins. Say your prayers. So, he comes down. That's the unthinkable. Everybody, it's all good. He comes into the ring, puts the referee aside, drops the leg on Randy Savage, turns heel, and the court creates the greatest stable of all time, in my humble opinion, the NWO. For life, brother.
Right.
And
right. Well, I mean, like Cena could turn heel, but once it's not his choice. So, like, once again, like it's a weird thing with wrestlers. Like, wrestlers get all this hate for not doing something, and it's like fans don't realize, like, we have bosses. Like we have a lot of bosses back there. It's not just Vince backstage that can fire you. There's a lot of people back there that can fire you. And so, like, when there's like, oh, why didn't Cena turn heel? And Cena this, Cena that. It's like, oh, he should turn. Like, it's not his choice, really. I mean, like, yeah, he's got a say in it, and he makes enough money to where, like, he's like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But like, he's been documented, yeah, I'll turn heel. Like the lady that made his gear for his heel turn that they were actually going to plan to do that they ended up scrapping makes my gear. And so she's just talking to me. She's showing me, like, oh yeah, they got this done and this done, and he ended up, I think he ended up like taking all that money he had spent when they scrapped it, and he gave it to like a scholarship type thing for NXT, to where it would pay for somebody else's gear, and I think it paid for Baron Corbin's gear when he got there, or something like that. Yeah. But I can't remember. But it was something like that. So, like, I mean, he was obviously down for it. He said a couple of times. It's just, you got bosses, man. They got to look at the numbers and, like, the little kids, the families, they love John. We can't turn them heel. So it's the damn analytics, man. The analytics.
Well, Hulk Hogan
ruining
heel. Hulk Hogan turned heel. I remember the real reason he came in late, he was in traffic. That's why he walked in late as hell. It was almost over. And he walked in late as hell, top the leg drop. I'm like, he was stuck in traffic all that time. It was supposed to be Sting. So I'm sitting there with my mouth wide open on the floor. The show's over with. I'm sitting there, what the hell just happened? Hulk Hogan how can he do that? Wrestling is all based on selling. If you can't sell, you're wasting my time. Because, like, if I punch you in the face, your reaction to that is the whole story. Wrestling is built on selling.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. Always be selling.
If I punch you in the face and you don't do nothing, you wasted my time. You wasted everybody's time and money. Like, react to that.
Well, if you punch them, like, usually the rule of thumb in wrestling is if you punch somebody in the face and they don't sell it, the next punch is a real one. So, you know, it's like, oh, we're not selling today? Okay, I guess we're actually going to do this.
Oh,
I mean, which happens from time to time.
one of my favorite sellers. He's a young buck. We just started him in. We just broke him in. Dominic Mysterio. That dude right there, a whole lot of potential.
Oh, you like Dominic? He's got a lot of fire.
He's all right.
Like, he got a lot of energy. That was like, oh man, he's got it. I mean, I'm waiting for him to go to NXT and get in better shape because it's looking like he's getting a little tired near the end of some of those matches, and plus, like, he doesn't have a great aesthetic for his body yet. So you can see he's completely covered. And so, like, okay, well, I can't wait for him to have like 6-7 months of just weight training and stuff like that, and in the ring, and he's gonna be so good. Like, so much fun. You watch him, and I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it was a pay-per-view or if it was a Raw or something like that, because I kind of go in and out of wrestling sometimes. And I was watching some match, and I was like, it's kind of like, whatever. You know, it's like there's not a whole lot of life to it. It's kind of going through the motions. And then Dominic comes in right after, and like this guy, first, second match, whatever, he has got so much fire. You're like, damn, come on, yeah, go beat Seth Rollins' ass. It's like, good job. And it's like, and yeah, the selling's great. The selling's probably more or less real compared to the other stuff on the show because he doesn't have the calluses built up. So, like, you can fall down on your back for 15 years and you get used to it. But that first day you do it, you hurt. You know? I had a headache for a whole month after my first training session. And just every day my head hurt just from bumping and stuff like that. Now I fall down and it's like, it's whatever. You know?
Not like your
and so, like,
time.
he's just getting the shit kicked out of him by a kendo stick and all that kind of stuff. And so, like, you don't get the calluses built up on those as much. And so, like, so like, he's taking it for real. So like, yeah, he might be a great seller, but like he's also like not selling as much because it's real for him.
I got one more thing to say about Dominic. Before I do that, I have a very special message, ladies and gentlemen, from the one and only Samuel L. Jackson. Thank you, Samuel.
Stay the fuck at home. The Rona is spreading. This shit is no joke. It's no time to work or roam. The way you can fight it is simple, my friends. Just stay the fuck at home. Now, technically, I'm not a doctor, but motherfuckers listen when I read a poem. So here I am, Sam fucking Jackson, imploring you, keep your ass at home. If you want things to get back to normal, don't panic. Just use your dome. Wash your hands, stop touching your face, and stay the fuck at home. Motherfucker, it's no time to gamble. Look around, you're not at a casino. Just stay the fuck home as if your name was Trenton Quarantino. Sure, you can still see your friends. Use the motherfucking app on your phone. But unless you just ran out of groceries, please stay the fuck at home. Thank you for doing your part to flatten the curve, because that shit is steep. And now that you're home, please feel free to go the fuck to sleep. Be it.
Thank you very much, Samuel. As long as you can, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, that's some poetry.
Some people don't get the message. People like Samuel Jackson got to drive at home.
Just stay the fuck at home. I'm gonna start saying that to all my friends. I'll start pulling that Sam Jackson poem and start playing it for them.
Speaking of that, Dominic, I'll tell you something, man. Like, he got two options. He can go traditional, like your daddy, your grandpa, everything else, or it be his own style. Either way, you gotta choose. Cause like you gotta do one or the other. You be your own person or follow tradition.
Yeah, he can do both. I mean, he's not going to be the next Mysterio, as in like a masked wrestler. I don't think we've seen his face too much, and we know him as a child. We're not going to want. We've already been attached to the kid for the last however long it's been, 15, 20 years, whatever. So, like, there's no reason to cover his face up because those are the eyes of the kid that we saw from SummerSlam, 2005 or something like that. Like, that's the windows to the kid's soul. So, like, you don't want to cover that up. And so, yeah, maybe you can keep the 619 to honor your father, but like he's probably going to be a hybrid. He's probably going to be someone's closer to like a Seth Rollins by the time he's done, where he can just do all of it whenever it's necessary. Because he has the build. He obviously has the head for it. He's nailed like 2 or 3 matches in a row with Rollins, and like not to discredit how good Rollins is leading a match, but he obviously has a lot of fire. You're not going to see him just do like traditional lucha, I don't think, when he comes into his own. He'll throw. I mean, you'll see the tilt-a-whirl head scissors and an arm drag, maybe a 619, but eventually we're going to start seeing a lot more throws and some slams and stuff like that, I think, from him. Because just looking at him, like, he's pretty tall. He's got, I mean, especially next. I mean, maybe he's just really tall because I'm imagining Ray, but he's like 6'2" or something like that. He's got a good frame. You could probably pack on another 50 pounds of muscle on him in the next handful of years. Yeah, he's definitely going to be one of those like hybrid guys. He'll probably be more of a main event, upper mid card guy soon. I have all the faith in the world in him.
He's gonna be good. There's a lot of potential there.
Oh yeah, he's gonna make his money in wrestling.
Man, speaking of potential, I thank God for NXT. As long as they have NXT, as long as they have Triple H, we'll always have the future of professional wrestling.
Well, yeah. I mean, right now, it looks like it can't be stopped. It's always gonna build new stars. And if you look at it, the formula is always pretty simple, too. It's just like make the story very simple and then have a really good wrestling match. You know what I mean? There's no reason to make it overly complicated, long, do anything too silly or too goofy. Because the more you make it silly or goofy to attract new people or just to create variety because you have 30 hours of wrestling on a week, the wilder it gets, the harder it is to put the whole story together, and also for people to suspend their belief. And so it's like after a while, it's like, it sucks. So that's why NXT can have all the gaps in the world, but no one's really going to complain about it because everything's so simple and so straightforward to the point that it's like, okay, well, I understand everything, so I'm willing to let everything go. But once people don't understand something, or it's out of the norm, that's where everyone goes to social media and bitches and moans because they don't understand, and that's where things get ruined. But that's my thoughts on NXT. As long as they keep it simple and they just wrestle, then they're always gonna get over. They're always gonna be stars in the future.
Every takeover at NXT, I like it. I like the setup: match. No backstage bull crap, no drama. Just match after match after match. Just keep it going.
Yeah, and then if there is any backstage drama they throw in every now and then, you pay attention to it because you're not trained for it to be a Twitter break or a bathroom break. Where like you might see it on Saturday Night Main Event or SmackDown. It's like, okay, well, after every match there's a 10-minute promo, so I'm not going to pay attention to every single one, so I'm going to go bitch on Twitter rather than pay attention to this. And then I'm going to bitch about that because I didn't pay attention to it, and I don't understand, so I'm going to bitch about that being dumb. And so that's wrestling. But NXT, as long as they do 5-6 matches at TakeOver, all wrestling. Occasionally, like you'll have like a Rollins jump the guardrail and cut a promo, something like that. Everyone pays attention to it.
Oh yeah,
great.
I'm very proud of the women's division because they come a mighty long way. It used to be bathroom break. Now they're front and center.
Oh yeah.
And you would know if you married a one.
Yeah. It's like it's still a little different though. It's still a little weird because. It's not the bathroom break anymore, and like, the women's division's coming to their own. It's like, 4 of them have. I mean, really, like, if you watch it in the last 10 years, has anyone else gotten anything aside from Asuka? The women's division's doing great, all 4 of them.
Asuka, I'm tell you about Asuka. I love her. She's great talent, but why in the hell give her a microphone if she can't speak English?
Well, I mean, it's more than English speakers watching the show. It's a global product now.
Like, for example, you don't speak Japanese. You don't understand what the hell she's saying. She could cuss you out and you never know.
Right, but like you also know when she's cussing too, or like cussing, but like they would still censor it if it's Japanese, or at least they would try. So like you can tell. Well, I mean they're supposed to, knowing how they're knowing how they're supposed to be doing it back there. So like you can have her rant and holler. It's all physical comedy, or not comedy, but it's all physical. So like if she's jumping up and down, she's screaming, it doesn't matter what she's saying. You know she's pissed. It's like blah 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 blah. It's like, well, she's obviously not giving her the cookie recipe. So like it's a little different, and also like she's Japanese, so like she has her own built-in market. I mean, nobody ever wants to say like that kind of stuff, but like it's true. Like that's who she represents. The people look at her, young Japanese women can look at her and like have inspiration, you know? So why is she speaking English when she can just speak Japanese, get the same point across, talk to them directly, and then now you have a whole new market over there. Because everyone's like, man, I love Asuka. I don't know what the hell anyone else on that show is saying, but I love Asuka. So, I mean, you got a roster of 200 people. They're all speaking English. One person speaks Japanese, and they're like, I can't understand what the hell she's saying. It's like, well, there's another million plus people that can. So, yeah, I don't mind.
I wouldn't mind.
I don't mind
Japanese. I wouldn't mind Japanese champion, because we finally had a black champion. We had Russian, we had Italian, we had a Greek, we had a Frenchman, Andre the Giant. We've had several Canadians. We never had a Japanese WWE champion. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, like they tried to pass off Yokozuna at one point, and he was like Samoan, right?
Yeah,
or Pacific Islander. I can't remember. Like he wasn't Japanese, and like I remember like, he doesn't look Japanese at all. So like, I was a little kid watching Yokozuna. I was like, he does not look Japanese, and I didn't know until years and years later that he wasn't. And I was like, okay, I was right. 6-year-old me nailed it. Yeah, like right now you'd have to have Shinsuke, right? I mean, WWE doesn't have a large representation of Japanese wrestlers outside of Asuka and Shinsuke, right?
Mm-hmm. You had Tajiri's job blew that. They blew that, man. Like, bro, you can use Tajiri. That would have been cool. Tajiri.
Oh, dude, he was awesome.
I love Tajiri. Awesome. They just ruined it.
Yeah, my wife and I love Tajiri. We love the Tajiri Steven Regal stuff, or William Regal.
Oh, man. Let me tell you. I'm like, William Regal was brilliant. They would, Tajiri would say something, be like, oh, yeah, I agree with that. I'm like, how the hell he understood
that? Regal is awesome. Like, he's one of my favorite actors in all of wrestling. Like, just go back and watch his WCW stuff, his facial stuff. It's fantastic.
Oh, man. William Regal is a legend, but there's no living down all these years later that one day, to save your job, you kiss Mr. Man's backside. Literally. Ain't no living that down.
Hey, it's wrestling. It's wrestling. It's all the show, man. It's all for the show.
Former tag champion. You can't do that now.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like it's no less sanitary than a wrestling match. Objectively, like you gotta go in half naked and roll around and sweat all over each other for 20+ minutes in the hot light, or you can go out there in a suit and kiss the cheek of a man's ass. It's like it's germ-wise, it's the same. It's nasty all the way around. Prideful, yeah, you don't want to go kiss a man's ass, but also, it's a silly show.
Yeah.
Just make that. I would watch Vince McMahon take a washcloth and wash his ass before I would go out there and do that. You know what I mean? It's like I want to see the dove hit your ass cheek. I want to see some sanitizer on there.
Vince McMahon's idea of the Kiss My Ass Club was like it's a combination of brilliance and disgusting at the same time. Because his storyline was that it was like, you want to keep your job, real simple. Pucker up, kiss my ass, you keep your job.
Mm-hmm. It's brilliant if you think about it. So, like, you get guys who are willing to kiss you on the butt cheek, right? And then as the payoff, the guy who gets people to or kiss their butt cheek gets his whole face shoved up the actual anus of Rikishi. So, like, there was no butt cheek for him to kiss. He was up the butthole. Like, he was nose in there. So, like, I mean, as far as, like, payoffs, that's pretty solid. Yeah, you get to kiss the hip or the upper butt cheek, and then I got to go up that man's ass. So, like, so as far as payoffs, it's probably the best one that they've done for a Vince McMahon bad guy storyline.
Oh, man. At the time, the plan was to have all former members of the Alliance, the ECW, WCW thing, to join the Kiss My Ass Club. That didn't work out. But most key members did.
That's so spiteful.
That was the plan.
You know what's crazy is, like, you'll hear those stories of, like, him, like, going out of his way to, like, shit on WCW and stuff like that. And, like, I can't help but feel like any regular person in the same situation would do the exact same thing. It's like you had this rival company that took shots at you for years, nearly bankrupted you, ruined your lifelong dream, and as you can see, the only thing he does, obviously, is work on WWE. And then, like, you win, and then, like, I want to make every single one of these guys kiss my ass. Everyone else in that position be like, yeah, I want to make everyone kiss my ass too, Vince. Yeah, that's those guys. I almost went home. I'd be like, screw those guys.
Now, me, I would give them an option. Hey, you want to keep your job, kiss my ass. Keep your job, or there's the door.
Oh, I think that was the case for something. It had to be, right?
Yeah, most people need the money. Pucker up. Mwah.
Mm-hmm. Man, if that doesn't represent all of wrestling, I need the money. Pucker up. So, like, that's just wrestling to a T right there.
You need this money.
Hey, man, I need you to do this cage match. I'll give you an extra however much money. All right, I'll go and kill myself.
Man,
hey, you want to do a ladder match with 12 other guys with the same size as you? No. Well, I'll give you an extra this much money. Okay. Broken arm later. Oh, I got an extra $100.
Broke your arm though, but hey, I got money.
But hey, I got $100 and exposure. Yay, wrestling.
Oh man.
With 12 guys who just like
I'm taking you back to '97 when the infamous Montreal Screwjob. Here's the thing, I would do the same damn thing. I mean, for real, like Bret Hart's contract was up. You're the champion. So what do? You're gonna go to the rival company. Here's the problem: you're taking my belt with you. You damn right I'm screwing Bret Hart. I would do the same thing.
Oh yeah, I would do the same thing. Yeah, I'm a big Bret Hart fan, but I would do the same thing as well. It's like you are an actor here and you don't want to play the part. Imagine if Hawkeye just decided to go off script during the middle of Endgame because he didn't want to do something. like that's the problem. You have to actually see that unfold with wrestling. There's no pre-tape type thing. So like that's selfish. That's rude. And it's like,
oh man.
No. And it's fake. It's like, fuck it, it's fake. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, yeah, I'm a proud Texan. So what?
No. But
I don't get that. I don't get the, like, I can't lose in Canada.
Yeah. So the plan was to lose the next night. He's like, no, we still gonna be Canada. I want to lose to Canada. Well, damn it, I need a new champion. What are we gonna do? So tell you what, I'm gonna screw him. Fuck him. I'm gonna screw him. So he did it. And everybody is pissed. It's chaos backstage.
Right.
And I don't blame him. I'm the same thing because your contract is expiring. You don't renew. Your contract is expiring. Buddy, I'm screwing you over. Deal with it.
Oh yeah, like because imagine if it happened the other way. Imagine if Brett got his way and got to leave. No one's going to be like, oh, Vince was such a nice guy for doing that for Brett. No one's going to say that. You know what I mean? So, like, it doesn't matter what other people's opinions were. He's not going to go out of his way. It's like, okay, Brett, I worked with you for so many years. I respect you and trust you. It's like, nah, man. You're leaving. Do your job. Well, I don't want to do my job. Well, then what? Honestly, at that point, I don't even know if I would have had the main event. I would have been like, all right, well, piss off. You're fired. Get out. Now we're going to have Shawn versus Taker at Survivor Series. Sorry, Canada, but Brett's an asshole. He didn't want to wrestle for you. Because, like, it does, like, oh, I didn't want to lose in Canada. It's like, dude, you wrestled your whole beginning of your career in Canada. I'm sure you lost once. It's like, what the fuck? Who cares? It's like, I started wrestling in Texas. I didn't win a match for 2 years. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Dang.
Well, no, like, that's what it is. It's not real. It's not fucking real. You know what I mean? If it was real, every match would last 30 seconds. It would all turn into UFC. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to see a whole lot of matches go the limit. And so, like, why are you doing it? Like, why are you being a pain in the ass about the show? Like, you obviously agreed to it. You know, once you're a champion, you're eventually going to not be champion. You don't get to, like, you don't get to just, like, oh, I get to be Superman now. I'll never lose. It's like, that's not the case. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me when people get so into wrestling like that they start believing their own character. Silly. It's like if Gary Oldman started believing he's Sirius Black. You know, it's like, the fuck? What's wrong with you? So, anyway, my thoughts.
I remember, speaking of never losing, I was shocked, mad, kind of understanding when the Undertaker made the call. Somebody made the call to end the streak.
Oh yeah.
It was like I
was shocked. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always torn on the streak because it's not that he should never have lost. I think he definitely should have lost at Mania. However, I would have never had him come back. So, like, to me, like, oh, Taker's at Mania. It's like, well, I don't care now. Now he's just a 50-year-old man. Before, he was this guy that no one could beat. It didn't matter how old he was. He'd always pull out the stops. We'd always see something new. And it's like, oh, he's going to wrestle Bray Wyatt a year after he lost to Lesnar. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I don't care. Now it's Bray Wyatt losing to a 50-year-old man who was a biker. So, I was like, yeah, he's tough, and, like, obviously, like, I consider him one of the best ever. But, like, as far as the mystique, I don't care. However, you see how it turned out for Brock Lesnar. He became the monster that just, the dude shows up every now and then and sells out. It's perfect. And, like, so, like, I can agree as far as the marketing. Now, as far as building up new stars, I probably would have just had Bray Wyatt beat Taker with the streak as like some sort of passing of the torch. But at the same time, Bray's been there for a few years. The Bray Wyatt character has been around a couple of years at that point. You don't know if it's going to last 20 years like Taker did. And so, like, you know, there's always the pros and cons. But to me, he was always going to lose one day. Or he should have always lost one day.
The brilliant thing is Brock all the work and Heyman takes all the glory.
Yeah, it's wrestling. The wrestler usually does all the work in the ring, but you know.
Paul Heyman didn't do shit, and he's taking all the credit. Brock Lesnar the one did the work. What you talking about?
Well, I mean, he cut all the promos, so he did some work.
Yeah.
Like, he built the match because it's not like Taker was out there every week cutting a promo. The dude shows up on a gong, stands around for 10 minutes, then goes home for his WrestleMania build, and then Lesnar is just going to stand there and look menacing. So, like, I mean, the storyline of Heyman taking the credit works because he was the only one talking the entire feud for 2 months. So, I can see him getting some love for it.
Let me ask you this: Brock Lesnar. If you're Brock Lesnar, there's nothing else to prove. You've done it all. Right, but you've been.
If he's still physically active, so unless he's going to go to like UFC or something like that, he can go to any wrestling company. He probably just wants to take a little vacation, hang out in the middle of nowhere, doing nothing but hunting, and then he'll probably show back up in WWE or AEW.
I mean, Brock has been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Oh yeah. I could go down the resume of Brock Lesnar. We don't have much time for that, but I would love to. But I'm just because y'all know the story. Y'all know the song and dance. NCAA champion. He was like multiple time WWE champion, Universal champion. Oh, by the way, broke the streak. Let's see what else he did. Oh yeah, New Japan, IWGP champion. Been there, done that, did everything there is to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to look at it. You got to look at it like acting instead of guys who are trying to accomplish things. Because it's like, well, I did all these things, but I'm still physically active. I'm still fairly young, and I'm bored as hell. I mean,
yeah.
like how many Oscar winners have won an Oscar, and like, why are you still doing movies? You accomplished it all. It's like, because this is my job. I like this job. So like the same thing for Lesnar. He probably just likes it enough to show up and have 7 matches a year or a handful of matches a year. So like, I don't think he's going to be gone very long. I think he'll show up in the next 6 months.
He probably will, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to that. I did not expect at all to see Paul Heyman's Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, that's happening now. Yeah, I saw a clip of that the other day. And I was like,
okay,
that's good. I'm okay with this. I like Roman. Like for a guy, like honestly, Roman got screwed. Roman got screwed because you got Cena and babyface Cena. He ruined it for everyone after him. It was like, oh, he never loses. He always champion. And so they just saw Roman with a similar hype. And they're like, oh, Roman's always going to be in the main event. He's always the champion. It's like the dude, like they go out of their way to make him the last guy in the Rumble every year just so whoever else wins gets more love. Like no one wanted Randy Orton to win that Rumble that year. Like it was like Randy versus Bray for Mania. This is not what we wanted, Like you could have done this without a Rumble win, but like everyone cheered because he beat Roman, and like Roman's like, dude, you're nailing your job. Your job is to get a reaction from people, and you were nailing it. No one wanted to cheer for Randy that much, but they didn't want Roman, and like now. After all these years, because he's been like the guy for so many years, but how long has he actually been like the guy? You never see him like opening that many shows with the mic. You never see him holding the belt that long. He usually drops it pretty quickly. Whereas Cena was champion for almost the entirety of his run for 5-6 years, So like Roman got screwed because everyone bitched and moaned. He left. And then they're like, oh, man, I actually like Roman. Shows up, boo. It's like, gosh, you don't know what you like. Like, how come everyone's booing, but he's selling millions of dollars of shirts? Like, who the hell's buying the shirt then? You know what I mean? Little kids don't have jobs. So, I don't know. People just want to boo because they sound cool and edgy.
Your opinion of Thunderdome, what do you think about it?
I think it's okay. To me, it's better than nothing. Wrestling should always be live in front of a live crowd to me because you don't know who's over. So like the entirety of Drew McIntyre's his title run has been without a crowd. And so we don't know if, let's say that there's a cure tomorrow for COVID and fans return. We don't know if they like him, like at all.
All right.
So like you have the Thunderdome. It's like, oh yeah, but you can hear that. It's like we don't know if that's the actual cheers of those people. We don't know if that's piped in sound like they did for the Orton Edge match in front of nobody. So like we have no clue. Like Roman might show up with Paul Heyman as the number one heel with 10,000 people and get cheered out of the damn building. So like that's the thing about the Thunderdome is you get some faces there. It helps the wrestlers get some energy because it sucks wrestling in front of no one for hours on end, an 8-hour taping day, and then and then occasionally you get some guy. It's like, oh, Kenny Omega's watching. It's like Kenny Omega is watching because Kenny Omega wants to troll WWE. It's not because he's watching and he's enthusiastic. You know what I mean? Like then you get people with like, oh, it's a Chris Benoit photo, and it's like you guys don't let anyone enjoy anything. It's like you just You know what I mean? It's like a couple people just got to ruin it for everyone. You got somebody like they sent out like a murder scene from a movie or something like that, or some nonsense like that. They played that, and I was like, what? And then of course WWE's going to get all the flack for it. Oh, you should have watched it. You should have censored it. It's like, man, we're trying to. The world's ending. You know, the world's gone to shit, and we're trying to just entertain people. It's the shitty people in it that are ruining it. You know.
Good Lord,
so
2020. I want my refund. I want my refund.
Oh, no
20,
kidding.
Damn it.
No kidding.
We lost Kobe. We lost Chadwick. Come on now. We lost Black Panther, and we lost Kobe.
You know what? I think the most heartbreaking loss for me was Shad Gaspar.
Oh man,
that thing. I never met him. I never met him. Never worked with him. Didn't know him. Don't think my wife really got to know him. But like just hearing the story of like the dad who went out a hero, I was like, God damn, that just hit me so hard when it happened. Like it still gets me. It's like the man, like what a dad. Like what if there ever was a way to go, you know, if I don't know if you have children or not, I don't. But like if I was a dad and I had to die, like I had to choose, and it would be saving my son. Man, you want to talk about going out like the greatest hero in that family history. Oh my God. It was so damn sad. It was like all the deaths, all the tragedies of this year, and then like the one silver lining is that dude went out like a hero. Oh. So it makes me so sad just thinking about him.
Man, 2020 will be a refund. Y'all, when you go down memory lane with your children, please don't do 2020. That never happened.
Just omit it. No, man. There's no. It goes 18, 19, 21. There's no 20 anymore in the number table.
I want my refund. Good Lord, we stuck with Trump. We lost Kobe. We lost Shad. We lost Chadwick. Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then we got virus out here.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine the future right now. Based on 2020, is 2021 going to be worse?
I don't want to try to peak it next year, man.
Oh yeah, I think I'm just going to spend the next few years stoned. I think that's the best way to do that. Just like I can't do it anymore. 2020 sucks so bad.
Oh man. Now, I tried to find the good things in 2020. I can't. It's a short list.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine either. At some point, the last couple months, I just had to start shutting myself off from the world. Like I deleted my Twitter and everything. I was just like, man, it's just nothing but just hostility and anger everywhere. It's like I'll end up killing myself by the end of this thing because it's just nothing but just depression. So you're surrounded by it, so you got to get rid. I gotta get away from all this stuff. Nothing good. It's like nothing good. You watch the news. It's like, is there just one thing? Did somebody invent something? Is there anything out there? It's like, no, it's all crap. It's all crap.
Man, everybody needed a good. We need to come together for a good old cold drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's all come together for a good old cold
drink. Whiskey. Yeah.
So. Oh my!
If we can get everyone drunk for about a month.
The only saving grace in 2020 is professional wrestling at this point.
You think so?
That's that shoe. That's mine shoe.
Yeah. I don't even get to watch it that often anymore with wrestling. I can't sometimes, you know. So I'm watching it and I was like, I can't wrestle. Like, you know, I'm a gig performer. And so like there's not a whole lot of indie wrestling right now, and so I get to watch other people wrestle and I was like, man, I don't want to watch this. I want to be in this. I can't, you know. Like I can't imagine being a football player sitting on the bench because you can't play the game, but you got to watch everyone else play. At some point, you're like, damn it, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be out there. You know?
Well,
so,
there's
like,
one thing you can always do.
The
You know, you can always take your wife, go in the backyard, and put on the show.
No, man, she beats me up. She never lets me win.
Oh man.
No, like also we've actually wrestled before on indie shows like years and years ago. We actually met training, in a training ring, and where we had to pair off and do this drill that's called give and take. And so the drill is she chooses whatever she wants. She does 3 moves in a row, and then I do the same 3 moves to her. Well, she had a little bit of chip on her shoulder because she's a female in wrestling, and everything sucks for her at the time. And so she's doing the best she can to overcome everyone's sexism. And so she sees me, this scrawny guy, the scrawny kid at the time, get paired off with her, so she's going to bring it. And she beat the hell out of me. And then when I go to do it back to her, I think I ended up like drop kicking her in the face or something like that. And like my trainer, Lance Hoyt, or Vance Archer, whatever, he's in AEW now, Hoyt. He just started cracking up laughing because she just shot straight to her feet, ready to beat the hell out of me. And I was just standing there like, thank you for the drill, ready to shake her hand, just because I'm just doing what I'm told. I'm sorry, you did it to me, so I just did it back. I don't know what to do. It's my first day. So it's like I'm like brand new. Like I am just doing whatever I can not to get this giant trainer to throw me out of the ring. You know, so like yeah, I'll do that. Whatever you need, boss. Whatever you need. And like the first time getting to like meet my wife, she hates my guts. And so we wrestle intergender matches around the area. And I would always like do stupid stuff to her. Like at this point we're wrestling, she actually like likes me and I would always like do the dumbest thing. Like she would do a move to me and I would whisper some joke to try to get her to laugh. Or I would put her in a hold and then try to tickle her behind to where the camera can't see, and stupid stuff like that. But we have, let me tell you this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. There's not a single wrestler in the world that I've wrestled with that I have worse chemistry in the ring with. We have the worst chemistry. There's not a match that goes by where I don't get hurt because she kicked me in the crotch on accident. On accident, quotation. So like, yeah. Anyway.
Man, by the way, gentlemen, I promised Matthew I would not mention his wife by name. But if you don't know, she's the former NXT champion. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I mean, yeah. So, and the reason why is, and if anyone's listening, and the reason why I never say my wife's name is because a lot of people want to ask stories and get insider info. But like that's her life. She's lived that life. She's gone through all the trauma and all the ups and downs. She's earned that right to tell that story. So I don't want to give away her interview. This is why I never answer questions about her. I never really say her name or her worker name or anything like that, because like if they don't know, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't add to her story or anything like that. So that's why I never really do it.
Yes, sir. Man, I'll tell you, the first time I was there, that first her debut on Raw. It was amazing. People had the internet not been around. It would have went out smoothly. And she's debuting tonight. She's debuting tonight. I'm like, bruh, surprise me. Then let me be shocked for 1 second.
I used to troll all my friends and family on social media and be like, watch TV tonight. Tonight's the night. And then she wouldn't be there. And they'd be like, why'd you do that? It's like, because it's funny to me. That's why I did it, because I laughed. Like I would, like, who in their right mind would spoil their spouse's big surprise for their dream job? You know? So, why would they think I was being serious? But anyway, yeah, I don't want to go too far into her.
Oh yeah. No, like, have you ever had a bad day at the office as a professional wrestler?
No, just like every day. You got to think of like an ideal office environment is not the ideal wrestling environment. Like, because I have to go out there and get beat up, even if choreographed, staged, whatever you want to say. Like, it's not that like we're mimicking the sound of flesh on flesh like that. You're getting flesh on flesh. That hurts. It's just every day is a rough day at the office because you're going in it as improv. Hey, I'm going to do all these moves, and we're going to do the story, and then you get hurt halfway through, or you tweak your knee just warming up backstage, or maybe you just had a rough week of wrestling for 4 days straight in some rough matches, and then the promoter, you're not even sure that guy has the payday. So, like, man, every day can be a rough day at the office. Probably the worst one I've ever had. Worst ones are usually the ones where you don't get paid. Where, like, you after your match, you're like, oh, can I get my pay? And it's like, oh, I'll pay you after the show. You wait till after the show, they're tearing down the ring, and like, hey, man, has anyone seen the promoter? And then everyone starts looking around going like, no, where is he? Oh, he's gone. He didn't pay anyone. And I was like, fantastic. I shortened my lifespan, and this guy couldn't pay me a handful of bucks. Fantastic. You know, like, those are the worst days at the office.
The only thing I do for free is charity in church. I'm not doing nothing for free. All I do for free is charity in church. Other than that, I want my money.
Well, I mean, we didn't plan on doing it for free. The guys just leave. Cowards. But yeah, I mean, I've had fights. You know, it's you're creating an environment that's not a very strict workplace environment. It's very loose, like I said, and like it's testosterone run, and so you get these idiots just getting into fights. Like me, like I'm an idiot. I'll get into a fight backstage with somebody. It could be a buddy, you know. It's not somebody you hate. You're going to try to murder, but like you throw hands a couple of times and it gets worked out. Yeah. You don't really get to see that in the women's locker room. They're like looking over from behind their curtains, like, look at these morons. like, why are they fighting? They're friends, you know. And so like you get those occasions. They're not frequent. You know, most indie locker rooms are actually super chill. They're just like, hey, we're just trying to get our payday. We all have to catch a 6 a.m. flight, you know, or we all got to drive 18 hours tomorrow. So not a whole lot of people are dickheads, but it happens, you know, it happens. Or the ring breaks. In the day, oh, God.
I think back in the day, when you were younger, who was your favorite female superstar?
Favorite female, you know, it would probably be Jazz. Do you remember Jazz at all? I love Jazz. Cool. Jazz and Rodney Mack are family friends. Those are good people. I like them. But like I was what's that?
I'm still down with the Brown.
Oh, dude.
Nah.
I had to wrestle Rodney Mack in a white boy challenge one time. And, like, I had just met him, like, 5 minutes prior. And, like, he comes out there, he's like, Matt, I got this. Don't worry about it, brother. And I was like, okay, man, whatever you say, Rodney, I'm following your lead. Because I had watched Rodney growing up at a local promotion by my house. So I had watched him since I was a kid. Like, whatever you want, Rodney, whatever you need. And he comes out there, like, I'm starting a white boy challenge. And I was like, I just start cracking up in the entrance position because I had no clue it was a white boy challenge. And I started cracking up. Because, like, the payoff was perfect. It was like, he gets in there, he's going to beat, because at the time I was like 40, 50 pounds lighter. And it's like, I'm going to beat the hell out of this tiny-ass white boy. And, like, he misses a move, and I roll him up 1, 2, 3, and I just jet. I bail out and leave, because that's what he said. He's like, roll me up, 1, 2, 3. It's like, damn, this is the easiest payday I ever got in my life. Thanks, Rodney. So, like, it was, and then he, like, talked for 5 minutes and, like, threw a fit. Like, that filled up the whole match. And I laughed my ass off when we got back there, because then Jazz was on the show, and I think she had to wrestle a friend of mine. It wasn't my wife. She had to wrestle a friend, and she ran out there and she wrestled her ass off for like 15 minutes. Meanwhile, Rodney and I did one move, and just cracked me up because Jazz like, you mother. He didn't do a damn thing. But yeah, I was like Jazz back in the day.
My favorite female of all time is a tie. Would have to be. It's a tie, man. I want to say Trish.
Okay.
I got to say Stacy Keibler, Lita. Who else? Angela Grace.
So it's a tie for the hottest ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I just like the wrestling because I never really cared for like the young attractive women because porn was still free, and so like,
I was really,
like, oh look at their cleavage. Well, you can see the whole thing over here on this lady. So like,
right.
to me, it was like Jazz was the wrestler. She was the one who didn't just go out there and show off and stuff like that. She wrestled, and I liked wrestlers. That's why Benoit and Bret Hart were my favorites as a kid. I didn't care about the performers. I liked the guys who were good at their job.
At the time, I thought my other head at the time. So my young horny self thought my other head. So that's why I like to do the position.
Hey man, that's fine. That made a lot of money for them young ladies. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always look back on it, and maybe it's just because I'm older now, and I'm not just fueled by wanting to, as a child. But like, I always wonder what it would be like if you got to see those women come back and actually get a chance to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like Stacy Keibler, Tori. Like, obviously, it's going to be a little stunted. They're not going to be as good as the young women now because age, because experience. They actually get to wrestle now, so they all have that practice. But like, I do want to see those divas from that day come back and actually have a true one-on-one wrestling match. No bra and panties, no titties flashing, just wrestle. I want to see that. Maybe I'm in the minority on that one, but that's just me.
I like to see that too, man. Because back in the day, women's wrestling was really shallow and built off sex.
Yeah. And, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because sex sells in every industry. And the only problem is that it's usually always one-sided. Like, you're not going to see the male dancers or anything like that. You're going to see the women and stuff like that. And I get it. It's one-sided. It sucks. But, like, you can. It's wrestling, so you always have to use whatever you can to get over. But I just want to see them after 20 years later. I just want to see them wrestle. I just want to see them get their chance.
By the way, Jazz, she dominated men too, so it didn't matter. Like, hey, anybody can get ass whooped.
Oh, that's just life for Jazz. That's just
the NPA
Jazz will hurt you. Jazz doesn't care what's between your legs. She can take you.
Oh yeah. And just like the NPA used to say, I take his ass whooping personally.
Yep. That has to be one of my favorite backstage gimmicks is the APA gimmick. I wouldn't mind somebody doing something like that similar to this day and age. It was like
cool.
just two buddies hanging out, drinking, playing poker, and occasionally it's like, hey, you want to go beat up somebody? It's like, yeah, why not? So like, that's good.
And if you need protection, as long as you got the cash, they'll protect you.
Yeah, how great would that be this day and age? It's like, I don't know who would do it. Maybe you get like an AOP or something like that. It's gotta be like actual intimidating guys. And so like that would be fun. Like don't copy it outright. Don't blatantly rip it off. But like that would be a fun gimmick, I think, to return. Just buddies smoking, drinking, playing cards, and occasionally getting into a fight.
That would be cool, man. Professional wrestling as a whole has taken deep. I always professional wrestling lasts for long as wrestlers will wrestle forever until the coronavirus hit, and now it's hard out here.
Oh,
especially for indie wrestling. Yeah. I thought wrestling would be around forever. Wrestling will never fade away. We'll always have wrestling, but you can't do it for a living, so that's a problem.
I know. I'm literally pacing around my wrestling room right now. Just like, yep, it's been since January since I wrestled, and that was my return. Like, I was out with an injury, and so like I came back. 2019 was rough, all the rehab and stuff like that. Came back, sweet. We're gonna have a brand new start. 2020 is gonna be good. COVID, damn it, I wrestled once. God damn it. So, basically, I've been on the shelf for almost 2 years now.
I hate to get all political, but had Donald not fired those people, we wouldn't have this problem right now.
Well, I'm not going to say whose fault it should be, but I usually lean towards you on that one. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I don't like any of them. They're all crooks. But he's just a moron. To me, this isn't to slight anyone else's political opinion. I just don't like the guy.
Oh, yeah,
I also have family that grew up in New York and knew about him. Everyone thinks he was this beloved icon, celebrity, real estate mogul, but I couldn't tell you how many construction companies went out of business because he just decided to file for bankruptcy so he didn't have to pay them, and then just hire somebody else to build the tower and build all this real estate. So it's like, you're practically a mob boss. Like, he's not that beloved. People actually know what he's done to ruin other people's businesses.
I mean, the dude can handle something. You can handle business as somebody's husband, and you got to nerve somebody's president. Come on now.
Yeah.
You can handle when you're somebody you're married.
When your main attack against your competitor for presidency is that they're old and they have creepy tendencies. Like, dude, you're Mr. Grab him by the pussy himself, you fat slob.
Come on.
Like, oh, he's 3 years older than me. He's too old. Like, dude, you're about to drop dead now. Look at you. You are Cheese Whiz in human form. Like, what? Like, this is not a valid argument. You haven't done anything to actually argue that you should be kept in office. But, whatever. Whatever. It's not wrestling. That fucking guy is like in everyone's conversation every part of the day.
But hopefully one day we'll be able to get together, our wrestling families. One day we'll be all together again. But for right now, social distancing is very important. So stay at home, relax, chill out. Let's get this thing over with. We come back together, have a big old reunion. That's only we wrestling fans can.
Yeah.
Thank you for being home. Yeah. Thank you, man, for being on the show today. Thank you very much. See you guys next time when we broadcast to you live right here from October. We're going to take a break after today. Thank you very much, Matthew Palmer, for being on the show. See you next time, everybody.
Bye, everyone.